Jonathan David is one of the most exciting and prolific strikers in the world of football right now and is truly on the cusp of a massive transfer to joining Bundesliga side in Red Bull Leipzig. That is right, guys, welcome back to On the Rise with the latest CanMNT news, and Jonathan David is receiving heavy interest from the likes of Red Bull Leipzig among other top clubs within the world of football. And this is all coming through Fabrizio Romano in the past couple of days through Twitter, and as we all know, Fabrizio Romano is truly the transfer god in the world of football, a tier 1 journalist, and this is massive news around Jonathan David, as Red Bull Leipzig would be the perfect destination for JD. As for me, I've been a huge advocate of Jonathan David moving to the Bundesliga for some time. Whether it's a transfer to Bayern Munich or Red Bull Leipzig, it would be amazing, but I think Red Bull Leipzig is the perfect situation and side for him to go to, which I'm going to be breaking it all down this video, guys. But joining Bayern Munich would have been a great move as well. They're desperately in need for a striker. They can't rely on Choupo-Moting for so much longer, and they need someone to take off that pressure and the goals from Thomas Muller. And of course, linking up with fellow Canadian in Alphonso Davies would have been amazing to see as well. That would have been a great fit. But joining Red Bull Leipzig is the most amazing move for Jonathan David. It's a huge step up in league. The formation, the suit, everything here just makes sense. But as we all know, this season, Jonathan David has been on absolute fire with LOSC Lille. Currently the top goal scorer at the time of recording with LOSC Lille in Ligue 1, with 15 goals in 23 games. Absolutely outstanding stat line from Jonathan David this season, and he has been absolutely brilliant, just tearing up the league at some form. Already on par with his highest goal record and tally in Ligue 1 from last season, where he managed 15 goals last season in 38 games. This year, only 23 games in, he has leveled that goal scoring tally and still has 15 games to go this season. He's going to blow that record out of the water. He has been absolutely phenomenal this season for LOSC Lille. But as Fabrizio Romano did tweet just a couple of days ago, saying this, Leipzig, among other clubs, are heavily interested in Jonathan David. He is a top target as being able to play as a target striker and second striker as well. They're looking at solutions internally, but it seems difficult as a very expensive one. David, top scorer in Ligue 1, 15 goals in 23 games. Of course, like I said, guys, that would be an absolutely phenomenal move. This has been a huge spot where I really wanted David to go for some time. A side that is brilliant at bringing through, whether it's younger talent or even just moving players on, and they're starting to truly become a top side in the Champions League as well and become solid there as well. As this season, they are currently in 4th place looking to lock down Champions League football, which would be a huge push for Jonathan David to get back in Champions League, to keep proving himself at the top level, which would then help himself to really improve his game at the top level and prove himself against the top teams in the world, whether it's the English Premier League sides or even La Liga and Italian sides like Napoli. But this is a huge move, and it absolutely makes sense for me in every fit of the way. Red Bull Leipzig have always been prominently really interested in bringing through North American players, whether it's right now having Caden Clark on the side, or in the past having likes of Tyler Adams and so many more other Americans that have come through the Red Bull Leipzig system. And this move is absolutely brilliant. Red Bull Leipzig predominantly do line up in the 4-2-3-1 system, which we did see them play against Manchester City in the Champions League this past week. And they have used it this week in the Bundesliga as well. But they also are known to line up in a 4-2-2 system, with of course the 2 holding 6s at the heart of the midfield, with your 2 number 10s along the wing sort of way, as Leeds did line up with Jesse Marsch in the Premier League for some time. But they also line up with those 2 9s. So it's a 4-2-2 system in some sense, which they also do line up in a 4-2-3-1. But this suits Jonathan David to a T. Whether you play him up top with two number 9s with a striker alongside him, which would more than likely be a likes of Andre Silva, with of course Emil Forsberg and Timo Werner would be your number 10s on the wing. But if you do line up in that 4-2-3-1, I can see Jonathan David starting up top every single day of the week, and I think he'd be a great fit with his movement, his versatility to switch in and out of other formations and systems, and he can always drift wide, which is another huge factor with Jonathan David's game. As he can play right wing, number 10, center forward, or even up top, Jonathan David's extremely versatile, which plays a huge factor in the Red Bull Leipzig system. Like I said, you got the likes of Emil Forsberg and Timo Werner alongside you if you're going to play in the 4-2-3-1, who would be your wingers. And Timo Werner, of course, would love to filter out wide, goes up top. He can play anywhere along that front line, as well as Emil Forsberg, who can play anywhere along those number 10 positions. It's extremely good to be a versatile forward, which is something Jonathan David has in his locker room, which is brilliant to have, especially walking into a Red Bull Leipzig system. Like I said, guys, whether they play in the 4-2-3-1 system or the 4-2-2-2, Jonathan David will fit this system to an absolute T, and it's something I'd love to see. And this league works perfect for Jonathan David as well. I think the teams, how they set up, how Jonathan David would like to attack would be brilliant. And the step up to get Champions League football, to be playing in a better league week in and week out, as the Bundesliga is starting to look like one of the better leagues in world football. I know you can talk about Bayern Munich being such a dominant side. They're going through a rough year with transitional without Robert Lewandowski. But you just got to look at it throughout the league right now. Dortmund are leading this league on 46 points. You have Union Berlin and Bayern Munich tied on 43. You have Leipzig on 42. And just below them, you got a great group of squads as well. The likes of Freiburg, Eintracht Frankfurt, Wolfsburg, Mainz, Werder Bremen, and Borussia Mönchengladbach. And you have even some sleeper sides down there as well of Leverkusen. This is a great league, and it's a huge step up for League. And I think Jonathan David would flourish with Red Bull Leipzig every single way. I've always been a huge advocate for this move, and I think it would be brilliant if it paid off for Jonathan David. Like I said, guys, the club, the fact that they love bringing through North American players, most notably it has been the likes of Americans, but they love a bit of North American players brought through. They're amazing at cropping through great young talent. Jonathan David is still very young and has a lot to bring to his game. And going up to the next level, having Champions League football, playing with a better squad, playing in a league and a side that wants to win every single day of the week, not just wants to win, needs to win. This is a club that want to play at the top level in the Champions League every single year, and that is why they'd always demand the best out of Jonathan David. And getting that kind of atmosphere, that kind of league, getting to play in front of those dynamic German crowds would be huge for Jonathan David. I think this is a perfect move and a perfect destination for Jonathan David. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about Jonathan David potentially moving to Red Bull Leipzig. Drop a comment down below, guys. Make sure to hit that sub button. We're so close to 100 subs. Drop a like, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.